peace beyond this world. I recall that I couldn't dwell in what was wrong, couldn't care about what had gone. The message on the stereo was strong, saying one day the pain goes and morning. Ah, this is the Sanctuary of the Spirit. I am Reverend Greta Sashida, and you are most welcome here. No matter where you're coming from, what you're looking for, what you found, this is a place where we are committed to living the life of God and following the teachings of the Christ and of the Buddha and of the Atman and of the Spirit. No matter by whatever name you know the presence of God, we give thanks that we are here together, gathered in this circle of light and love. And so I welcome you into a moment of prayer, centering, giving thanks first of all for the opportunity to recognize one power and presence that is God, that is good, that is everywhere present, revealing itself through all of life, through everything that it created, and everything that it created it called good. And that includes the I am of each one here gathered. No matter where we are, what time it is, what state of mind we are in, the presence of God is where we are. And the presence of God is healing and loving and compassionate and wise and intelligent, everywhere present. And so we give thanks for this opportunity to gather together with like-minded people, to join hearts and hands in this circle of light, and to be here in celebration of life. Grateful to bless our magnificent musical inspiration today, Ray Davis. Grateful to bless each one of us as we are and as we are growing into all that we are meant to be. Blessing all of life, calling forth peace and harmony and goodwill, knowing that this is unfolding because this is the divine plan that is in place, that is having its way. We give thanks for this and for so much more than words that can begin to say. And so I do release this word to the activity of the law, and I know that it is done and it is so. And so I just let it be. And so it is. Amen. Welcome again, everyone. Those of you that are with us here on Zoom, those of you joining on Facebook, on YouTube, thank you for being here. You make a difference. Thank you for the contribution that you bring. I just want to start with a little bit of an idea, a kind of an old idea that, when people are trying to hear something, they put their hand behind their ear, as if to say, I'm listening, I'm ready. And so I invite you to just put a hand behind your ear and just in the quiet, just take a few breaths to just listen to whatever there is to be heard. And then if you like to take the same hand or both hands and put them in your heart space and listen internally for whatever there is to be heard. And now just let your hands relax, if you will, and open your heart for our musical inspiration this day. That would be Ray Davis. He has a beautiful song to share with us this morning. Hello, Ray.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Oh, I love that moment of listening. So, this song I presented before. It's a fairly new song, but it was the first and most insistent thing that came up when I saw your topic this morning, Reverend Greta. And it's still working in me. This song is a profound movement. It's a profound spiritual message for me. Um, it's this ultimate idea of what's really beyond our imagination, beyond where we have been before. You know, there's a dare to this spiritual life. Most people don't think the way that we end up thinking and seeing life the way that we end up seeing life. It requires a certain kind of sacrifice. And so it is, you know, Yeshua said, lay down your cross and follow me. Can you lay everything aside and follow me? So this song is about what is beyond our expectations of life, our normal expectations of life. What's beyond the cocoon. The song's called Horizon. Have you had the dream of your unfolding life? Have you had the dream of your horizon? Have you seen what lies beyond the fading of your light? Have you ever dreamed of your horizon? Do you fear the day you fade away? Well, there's a secret in the setting, rising sun. A sight unseen, a sound unheard. You say you want a miracle, but fear what you must try. The sight unseen, the sound unheard is a mystery awaiting your discovery beyond your horizon. La 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 la. I've been letting go, no longer holding tight to anything that keeps me, binds me, imprisons, confines me behind the mortal veil of moral slavery, in spite of the promise of my horizon. See, I no longer fear the day I fade away, for I whisper in the setting, rising sun. A sight unseen, a sound unheard. I am the source of miracles, springing into new life. Sight unseen, the sound unheard is a mystery awaiting my discovery. Beyond my horizon. Behold, I tell you a mystery. We seed of a miraculous discovery beyond our horizon. La 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 la. Have you had the dream of your unfolding life? La 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 la.
You leave us kind of breathless, Ray.
I think you might be muted. Okay, I think you might be muted.
You are absolutely right. I was saying you leave us kind of breathless. Like, oh, thank you.
Awesome. My joy.
What
It's
a
my
way to
joy.
start the day. You know, when a musician comes with that sound and that essence and that feeling, it's like, oh, it just sets everything up. It almost doesn't matter what I say. So grateful for Ray Davis this morning. Last week our topic was coping can be loving, show up and heal. This morning we're moving from coping into knowing, the way that we can know our healing, the way that we can be aware of the process that we're in, of this life that we're living. And the title is Cocooned, Not Broken. Know your storm and grow your wings. And I'd love to start with a piece called Butterfly Wisdom. It's written by Agape practitioner Karen Turner. And she starts by saying, one morning as I walked across Pacific Coast Highway, I was greeted by a monarch butterfly flying in the opposite direction. She drifted toward me until she was only inches from my face, just hovering as though she had paused simply to say, hello. And then she circled twice before settling on a withered piece of palm bark as we briefly regarded one another, two travelers meeting on the same path. And then as gently as she arrived, she lifted into the morning air and disappeared. I couldn't help but imagine she was just as curious about me as I was about her. I marveled at the journey that she carried within those painted wings. A creature so delicate had traveled nearly 1,500 miles along the western coast, stopping to sip nectar, searching for milkweed on which to lay the next generation, guided by an invisible map, older than memory itself. The monarch reminds us that resilience does not always roar. Sometimes resilience arrives with wings so thin that sunlight shines through them. The butterfly's true beauty is not found in its magnificently painted wings. It's found flying in the gentle dance from flower to flower, in the impossible journey of migration, the quiet miracle of transformation, and the freedom to become fully what it was created to be. This encounter reminded me of how quickly at times society is to judge someone or something based upon its size or force or noise, making an instant assumption solely based on appearance. After my butterfly encounter, I noticed that the natural world gave me a new interpretation. Courage and fortitude can be shown in the smallest of beings. This beautiful expression of God had the tenacity to carry on despite difficult odds and trusted in its inner wisdom. Perhaps the monarch came to remind us of our own inner compass, that our lives are shaped not by how large we appear, but by the steady faithfulness with which we continue the journey. Even the smallest among us can become part of something magnificent. Her affirmation is, I trust the wisdom within me to guide me on every step of my journey. Written by Karen Turner. Inner compass to continue the journey that we're on. We are all here on this journey of life unfolding. And my butterfly wisdom leads me to share something that happened last week. And the scriptural guidance that came to me is from James 1:19. It says, let every person be quick to listen and slow to speak. So I'd already talked to you about having an infection in my tooth and the dentist telling me that I needed to have it extracted and all of that, and a person telling me to, try a holistic dentist, which I did, and I went and I found that the tooth wouldn't necessarily have to be extracted, that they could do deep scaling or deep cleaning to clean out the infection, and then regular deep cleaning so that the infection doesn't come back. So, I'd had this done years ago. I thought I didn't really need it anymore because I'd had this laser treatment. But anyway, here I am again going through this process. And when I was a little girl, I remember my mother took me to this dental clinic once, and they wanted to pull a tooth. And the dentist came at me with this needle, to numb the area. And I just refused. I would not open my mouth. I would not let that dentist near me with that needle. And my mother had to take me home. It was only a milk tooth that was going to come out anyway. But I had that memory of really not going to the dentist is not one of my favorite things. So anyway, I went through this process, and the most challenging part of it is the numbing, because they have to do the injections so that you don't feel the pain. So that was pretty rough, that part of it. And then after that, of course, it's nothing much to be concerned about. But it is such a kind of a thing that they do. In one session, they do one half of your mouth, upper and lower, and the other session, so I had to go back the next week for the rest of my mouth. And this was like last Sunday was the day before I was going to be going back again. And I found myself just dreading it because I really did not want to have to experience that. And then I thought to myself, instead of trying to get away from the pain, I'm just going to offer my mouth to the hygienist, and just know that it's going to be uncomfortable, but it's not going to be long, and it's not going to be bad. And that's just what I'm going to do. And so that was my intention. And then Monday morning, I remembered that when I used to go so many years ago for the same thing, I used to imagine this butterfly up in the top. Like, I just imagine it in the upper left part of my brain or my mind. And I just imagined this butterfly. And I did that while the procedure was going on, so that I had like something else to think about. And it really worked. So I decided Monday morning, I'm going to go and I'm going to present myself and I'm going to imagine the butterfly there. And so instead of thinking about the needle and what that was doing, I was thinking about the butterfly. And honest to goodness, I didn't feel anything bad. It was such a different, the same activity, but such a different experience because I put my attention somewhere, not trying to hide or pretend it wasn't happening, but to make sure that where my attention was while it was happening. And so it worked for me to remember. It worked for me to envision something else, something higher than what was my fear of what was going to happen and how something was going to hurt. And I felt so relieved because now the rest of it would just be easy. And the hygienist left for a minute. She didn't say, I'll be right back. She didn't say anything. She just left. I realized she wasn't there, and I thought, well, that's okay because now it'll give the medicine longer time to work and I won't feel anything. And then she didn't come right back. And then I thought, well, I'll just be patient. It's okay. Maybe she's taking care of something. And she still didn't come back. And I thought, Greta, this is ridiculous. You're sitting here in the chair with your mouth numb. They're ignoring you. Nobody's here. And I kind of was going back and forth between, I can be patient, I can hold space, I need to speak up for myself. And I heard somebody walking by the open door, and I called out and I said, can somebody come in and tell me what's going on? I'm just here sitting. So someone said, okay, they will get someone. They send somebody who comes in, and they tell me that the woman's husband is in the hospital and she's been talking to the hospital. And so, that made me feel, I'm getting all upset for a few minutes and she's doing this. And when the hygienist came back, she said that her husband had had a cardiac arrest. And I said, did they just take him to the hospital? And she said, no, he's been there for a month, but he's not doing well. And so I just felt so much compassion. And I asked her husband's name, and I asked her, I said, I'll pray for him. And she thanked me. And I told her I could come back another day, and she said, no, let's just go ahead and do it. And so we did, and I left. And as I left, I thought, well, that was so easy for me to say, I'll pray for you. Did I do that because I'm a minister? And it's like, would that be okay for anybody? Would that, can you imagine yourself just saying to somebody, I'll pray for you? Have you done that? Some people are nodding and some people are shaking, and it's no judgment. It's just a question. Would it feel or sound strange to say to someone, I'll pray for you? Or would it feel or sound strange to just think to yourself, I'm going to pray for this person? I don't know who they are. It's not like there's somebody that I love or I care about, somebody I don't even know miles away. I'm going to pray. I'm just asking about how that would be for you. I have been praying for her husband. That's just part of my daily prayers, and I'm thinking I could be praying for myself because, it was such a seesaw thing, and here I am getting all upset, and somebody else is going through a very traumatic thing, and I'm thinking that it's all about me when it isn't. But in a way, it is all about me because it was an opportunity for me to be aware of something. So my getting upset is not really like a mistake that I made is not really like something that I need to be forgiven for. It was part of the process of me growing and knowing more of who I am and what I'm here for. And going back to the butterfly, a butterfly comes from a cocoon or a chrysalis, and sometimes they're usually struggling to get out. And if you go and try to help them and try to kind of tear the cocoon a little bit so that they get out, the butterfly cannot survive because it needs that struggle that it takes to get out to be able to fly 1,000 miles in the air. It needs that. In the same way, I think that I needed that experience to have another look at myself. And I'm wondering if maybe there are things that you have done or that are part of your experience that you feel like are some kind of a failure or some kind of an upsetness that you didn't need. I'm wondering if that could be part of a way that you are growing and becoming more aware of yourself. Not broken, but simply in this cocoon, finding your way beyond the horizon to what you are really meant to be. Is that possible that it is part of that process? So Eckhart Tolle, who is a wonderful teacher in the New Thought arena, says that awareness is the greatest agent for change. Awareness is simply a sense of knowing who you are, of being conscious of what is going on. And perhaps that awareness is the greatest agent also for healing through coping and through knowing. And Henry Miller wrote that giving close attention to one thing, even a blade of grass, makes that one thing a mysterious, awesome, incredibly magnificent world in itself. Concentrating on one thing. And so in the dentist chair, I gave my attention to the butterfly as opposed to the pain or to the needle, and it transformed the whole experience. That's a spiritual law that says that what you attend to, you empower. What you give your attention to makes whatever that thing is more prevalent in your life. So this goes back to our talk about the choices that we get to make between something that is kind of what we would call a low vibration as opposed to something we would call a high vibration. But healing through knowing through healing is not just about gathering information. There's plenty of information around to be gathered. But it often involves the complete surrender, the giving up of something that used to be in order to make way for what is meant to be. The caterpillar gives up its sense of caterpillarness in order to experience butterflyness. In order for something new to emerge, we get to let go of something that existed before. And a real important part of the process is that nobody sees the caterpillar changing into a butterfly. It's not visible. It's not something that's out in the open. And much of our growing by knowing who we are is done internally. It has to do with what we're listening for and what we're listening to and what we're allowing to impress us. So when I'm thinking about my own growing up and my family, we didn't really think much about counseling. My parents weren't interested in telling their business to strangers. But I was really needing some help, and I was new to New Thought, and I went to a practitioner, and I was kind of nervous about going. I didn't know what it would be like, but I needed to have the opportunity to express some of the things that I was going through. And as I continued to go, and I settled on a practitioner that was really, really helpful to me as I was going through these anxiety things. And we usually would sit on the couch and talk. But one day, some way, I don't know how, but I ended up sitting on the floor and just sharing what I was going through and how I was feeling. And she was just sitting next to me and just listening, really not saying very much at all. And, at one point she kind of put her arm around my shoulder, and it's like something just kind of like cracked inside and it just spilled out. And it was just a lot of tears. And she wasn't trying to stop me or comfort me or anything. She was just really listening. But something kind of wonderful happened in being listened to and being able to share where I was. It was a big movement into knowing more about who I am and what I'm here for. And anybody watching from the outside wouldn't have had any idea about what was going on in me inside. They would have seen, a woman crying and a woman sitting there, but they wouldn't have had any idea about the internal process, what it all meant, what it all felt like. So years later, I had a call from my mom, and she sounded really upset, and she was talking really kind of fast. She hadn't slept, and I came to visit her, and she was very hyper excited and trying to do a whole lot of different things at once. And at one point, we just sat down on the couch in the front room, and I just listened. And she just talked and talked and talked, and a lot of it I didn't understand. Like sometimes, since I was a little girl, my mother had these episodes of what they called nervous breakdowns, when she'd get all excited and be doing things, looking for things. But I just really sat there and just listened, actively listened to her as she talked. This went on, it seemed like, most of the day. And by the end of the day, she was so clear and she was so calm. It was a complete change over what usually happened. What usually happened was, give her some medicine, take her for a treatment or something. Things completely changed, and I don't know if it was just a matter of she needed somebody to listen who loved her. I don't know. But she never had an episode like that again after that. She never had to take medicine or go for treatments after that one experience of sharing and being listened to. And again, there was nothing to see from the outside. I had no way of knowing that this would be the last time she ever had an episode like this. And there wasn't anything for me to do. I wasn't trying to help her or give her therapy, anything. I just got to be the one that listened. Listening, I'm not saying that it's a substitute for therapy or for medicine or any kind of a care that you need, but listening can be its own medicine. And there's a woman by the name of Rachel Naomi Remen, and she was alternative medicine. She was a pediatrician, but also a wonderful healer. And when I decided I wanted to share her quote on Friday, I didn't realize that yesterday was the day that she made her transition. So you may be hearing a lot about healers talking about what they learned from Rachel Naomi Remen. But she taught that curing is a technical medical function that's aimed at fixing something. But healing is a natural spiritual process of restoring the wholeness that was already there. And she really spent her lifetime teaching about healing. And she said that listening is the oldest and perhaps the most powerful tool of healing. Our listening creates a sanctuary for the homeless parts of the person that's being listened to. So this ministry is a sanctuary for those of us that are on this path. And I have to admit that for a part of my experience in the dental chair, I was out of the sanctuary. I was like totally, I didn't say that much that was unkind, but I was really thinking, how ridiculous this was. And I didn't handle the experience very well. But Einstein said that you can't solve a problem on the level of consciousness that created the problem. So I couldn't think myself out of being irritated and being upset. But through the process, I got to know myself out of it. I got to be aware of what was happening around me and within me. And that was a part of my healing and my wholeness. The falling apart part can be a huge part of the healing. The places where you feel that you have not measured up, or you're disappointed, or you feel like you need to be excused, or you need to be forgiven, or you're going to be punished. All of that is a part of the struggling to leave behind where we were and to know where we are meant to be. So a couple of things for this week. I have 3 things that you can try. And maybe there will be a chance to try all 3. But the first one is what I'll call the butterfly focus. And the butterfly focus is when any moment coming up this week, when there's a moment of dread or discomfort or upsetness, that you choose one small, beautiful, but significant, compelling image to hold in your mind or in your heart, or however it works for you. Again, not to ignore or deny what's going on, but to place your attention on something that is supportive, that feels loving, that feels kind, and feels comforting. Try focusing on that one thing. It could be a butterfly, it could be a plant, it could be a photograph, it could be a memory. Maybe you could think of something that it could be for you, that you could use as something to place your attention on, as opposed to what seems to be going on in your life. And see how it works. And then the second thing is a listening pause. And the listening pause is you choose one conversation that you're having with somebody, and all you do is listen. You don't try to fix anything, you don't try to change anything, you don't try to counsel. The person is talking and you're just listening. You're just holding space. And if you feel like you have to do something, you could just nod to yourself as if to say, I hear you. I understand how you feel. But just listen. Give the gift of listening to the person you're listening to and to yourself. And they might think it's kind of strange that you're not talking back and trying to talk them out of what they're saying. But what you're doing is holding space and listening. Maybe there's a conversation you anticipate having this week where you could just try that. And you could be, yeah. See. Try it and see how it works. It could be part of a great healing. It would be part of a great healing. It might not show on the outside that anything has happened, But we know that much of the growth takes place in a space that we can't see. See how it feels to you. And here's the last thing. Claim your authority to pray. You don't have to be a minister. You don't have to have a degree, letters after your name. You don't have to be a spiritual person to pray for someone. You could just say, I'll pray for you. And mean it. And do it. Or you could see or hear about somebody and you could think to yourself, I'm going to pray for them. And mean it. And do it. And see how it is for you. That's it. 3 options. To focus, to listen, to pray. Find out how it is to know your storm and grow your wings. God is so good, so good. All good, the all good of God. The wisdom, the intelligence, the compassion, the peace, the generosity, the forgiveness, the understanding, the wholeness, the healing, the prosperity and the abundance of every good and perfect thing. This is what is. This is what created each of us out of itself. This is what is creating each of us out of itself, this ongoing process. Creative living. Happening all at once, instantaneously, for those with eyes to see, ears to hear, and a heart to know. Is speaking this word for life, revealing itself in peaceful and wondrous ways. We know that there are things that are going on in the world that are not peaceful, but our attention, that which we give our attention to, that which embraces us, is the goodness, is the grace and the love. Our attention calls it forth into our life. With special requests for Ray Davis's mother, who is experiencing some disease in her body, is speaking the word for her wholeness and her healing and her well-being, and knowing that everything is working together for her wholeness, her healing, and her well-being, and blessing those who are loving her and caring for her and praying for her. And as there is only one life, a prayer for Ray Davis's mother is a prayer for the mother of all of us, for all of our children. It's a prayer for all of the people that we love. It's a prayer for all of the people that we don't even know that we care about and are praying for or would pray for. It's a prayer for those who need prayer seemingly more than anybody else because they appear to be so lost, but it is all a part of the struggle, part of the experience of growing more and more into who we are really meant to be. And yes, we're blessing those that we're praying for, members of our family, members of people that occupy our hearts, and for the strangers and for the people that don't seem to have anybody praying for them. There's one life, there's one prayer, there is one love. We are all living it. We are, each of us, loving it. This is why God says, you are my beloved. Each of us is the beloved of God. And so we pray for one another, and at the same time, we accept and receive the prayers from one another. And all of us are lifted. And all of us move closer to knowing our true self. We give thanks for this. We pray for the children of the world. Pray for the elders of the world. Pray for all those in between. Pray for the animals. Pray for the plants. Pray for the oceans and the forest, the deserts, the valleys. This wondrous world is one. We see it, we declare it, we live it, and we love it, and we let it be. And so it is. Amen and Ashe. Thank you. Ray Davis is still here. He's here to share.
Yes, yes, yes. You know, it's amazing. It's amazing how these things work out. It takes me a moment to reflect on what can be useful for a service such as this, and I always ask what should come out. And this morning, the song "Compassion" came. The idea of the song called "Compassion," and I didn't know why. Turns out it's a wonderful accompaniment for your second step in the weekly things. This is a song that came through because of my admiration for the work and respect for the work of practitioners who, just in my practitioner sessions, it's been very clear. This is the truth. We're not going to deal with any of this. This is the truth. This is the truth about you. And so this is a story song about someone realizing that maybe the best thing they can do is not say anything at all, just be there in a heart of compassion. It's compassion. Fear came by for tea one afternoon. She cried and cried so much that soon she was tepid and forgotten. The fear said, this time I think he's gone for good. So in my mind I'm wondering, should I say this or that or not? And suddenly the silence, right when everything was quiet, I knew what was needed, just love and compassion. Fear picked up on the second ring. He mumbled before confessing he was totally besotted. The fear moaned, he's only toying with my heart. So now I'm wondering how to start to unstop a mind that's collapsed. Then in the silence, right when everything's quiet, I knew what was needed, just love and compassion. Fear, binding, blinding fear. Fear no longer speaks to me. Oh no, no. It's love, love right now. And here, the clearly colors, all I see. I see you now. I see true now. All is to mail the check today. Tomorrow someone's right will pay. Will not be in their possession. Sometimes I feel like such a simple-minded fool. Maybe I should go back to school to pursue some safe profession. Then in the silence, right when everything's quiet, I knew what was needed. Just love and compassion. Just love and compassion. Compassion. It's just love and compassion. Compassion. Love and compassion. Love and compassion.
Love and compassion was all that was needed. Wow.
That's all.
That's all.
Sometimes that's all we need.
I'm just thinking, Ray, about your first piano lesson when the teacher said find middle C and you just played it. And from finding middle C, now you just play from your heart the music, the words, the sound, the vibration that is so healing. And I know there must have been trying times getting those lessons and doing that, practicing and all that when you wanted to maybe do something else.
Yes.
But thank God for you, and thank God for the blessing that you are to this ministry.
Thank you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you for that prayer. That was.
Thank you. And prayers continue. Yes, they do. This is what is true. Health and healing and wholeness. Thank you. Oh. Well, time for me to thank you all for being here, for being part of this ministry, for telling your friends about it, for coming and any time of the day, any day of the week to catch up, to see what's happening here in the sanctuary. I so appreciate your participation. I so appreciate your request for things that you would like for me to talk about or things that you would like prayer for. I trust that you know that you can just write something in the chat box, or you can email me at revgreta@me.com and let me know how I can be of service to you. Would love that. We talked about the butterfly that had flown over 1,000 miles and that she was guided by an invisible map. And the sanctuary of the Spirit is guided by an invisible map in a way. It isn't all visible to me at one time, but it is carried forward by those of you that can support it and give what you can when you can to support it. And that makes it possible for other people who are looking for a sanctuary to find it, to find us here and to join us and to be part of this. So thank you so much for following your own inner compass and what you are able to share and how you are able to support. It is all so very much appreciated. I'm trusting this week ahead that you will take the opportunity to focus, to listen, to pray, and see how it all unfolds for you. And I'd love to hear if you want to email me and let me know how it's going or what you tried or what happened. That would be a real blessing. Sashita Speaks, the monthly newsletter, is coming out this week, and some of these ideas may be a part of it. It's still unfolding even now. If you don't receive it and you would like to, you can go to my website, revgreta.com/newsletter, and just click on it and I'll make sure that you receive a copy of the newsletter. I do want to thank those of you that are here with me on Zoom. I appreciate you so much. Appreciate the people on Facebook and YouTube. Whatever time you're joining, thank you. Have a wonderful week. Grow your wings. Do your thing. Become more and more aware of who it is you are really meant to be. Thank you. I love you. I'll see you soon. Take good care.